I have some of that young blood. Nao, if I can pronounce these words, I'm not too good. Naokimi, did I get close there? Ushiroda is the president of the Collegiate Association for Research Principles, known as CARP, a campus-based organization which promotes universal core values like honesty, hard work, living for the sake of others. CARP has also trained young people in critical life skills like public speaking, organizing meetings, and generating funds. I could use you on my team. CARP training graduates are demanded for the future employers, and also graduated from Wharton School of Business in 2004, has since been involved in education and leadership development for young adults. Let's just welcome my brother to the podium.
Good afternoon, everyone. So it's quite an act to follow. I have the same genes as the previous speakers. I don't have my own church. I don't have that nice suit that he has. And my name doesn't even appear in the Bible. But that's okay, because God loves us all. So today I was invited to share a little bit about CARP, which is something that I was recently appointed to by the co-founder, Mrs. Hakcha Han-moon. And the point I want to focus on is really about how to reach this demographic of young people. Now, I may not be invited back to the podium if I say this, but I don't see too many people under the age of 30 around here, including myself, actually. But really, I was looking at this pamphlet, ACLC, and it says, mission to rebuild the family, restore the community, renew the nation and the world. That's quite a vision. Yeah. That's right. And we're all here because one aspect of ACLC has called you to be a part of this kind of movement. But I'd like to ask you, even at the very core building block of all of these things, the world, the nation, the community, the family, what is at the center? It's actually the individual, right? The challenge is, I was asked to reach out to a very specific demographic of college students. The problem is, some say the campus is the devil's playground. And it's a very godless location, tends to be. But that was my challenge 4 months ago. And took the last 2 months trying to figure out what to do with this. Today I want to share a little bit about that. So when I met with Mother Moon, she basically reiterated her husband's vision for this organization. Said, we are dedicated to creating young people who are morally clear. We have to clean them up and challenge them and channel their resources. That is CARP's mission. If we can reach the young people of America, then we can assure America's hope for the future. The young people on the campuses are America's hope for the future. So she told me this in about 5 minutes, and then she said, I order you now to be the CARP president. The question was whether you will diligently work at this role or not. So it's quite a task. Anyway, I'd like to start with the definition of what is CARP. Collegiate Association for the Research of Principles. It's a network of college students across America for the study and application of life and leadership principles. And our mission is simply to help every student practice life principles essential for personal success and leadership skills with which to make a positive difference in society. So basically we're finding a way, actually the Pastor Jason mentioned about the importance of having integrity and also skills. Right? And similarly, developed an idea of building the internal strength of college students as well as the external skills to raise them in their leadership capacity. So here are the 5 core life principles that we will be focusing on in CARP. The first is spiritual health. Now, health is very big these days. There's always the fad diet, there's the working out, there's the nutrition, yoga, meditation. So I want to go on that wave of health, but open the students' eyes to the concept of the invisible realm. That there's something more to health than just the physical body. That even if you are as fit as a fiddle, if you do not take care of your spirit, you can actually feel very tired, very exhausted,
Yes.
and in some cases, spiritually dead.
Yes. Yes.
Have any of us been there before?
Yes.
Yes. Go talk to Pastor Jason here later. So, but we want to address this issue and actually openly discuss and encourage students to explore different things that will help them strengthen their spirit. Okay? Second point, healthy relationships. Now, everyone in college, I'm sure if you can remember back, was looking for love. Problem is, many times in the wrong places. But in CARP, we're going to explore the principles of healthy relationships that will allow people to have lasting and effective relationships. In fact, one of the key points we're going to talk about is if you want to get good with your future spouse or your boyfriend, girlfriend, you actually have to get good with your parents. Say what? Say what? No, we're going to talk about this because no one else is, that really in the realm of relationships and heart, that's actually the foundation for building a lasting relationship with your future partner. Okay? No one else is talking about this stuff. I think the parents will be happy too. But anyway. Third point, inherent value. Okay? I was recently last weekend at a youth ministers conference with about 80 youth leaders. And they had this vulnerability exercise where each person wrote on a piece of cardboard their main blocking point in what they're doing. And I was shocked because 80% of those people who came up and shared were struggling with lack of self-worth. They didn't feel good enough. They didn't feel loved. They didn't feel valuable enough. Even though they were caring for tens and maybe even hundreds of youth, they themselves did not feel and sense their own value. And I feel this is an epidemic on campus. The reason why, the number one reason why people get into trouble is because they don't understand their true value. And so in CARP, we're going to emphasize and help people realize the value, the inherent value that each of us all have as children of God. And help them to develop a healthy perspective of themselves so that they can stay strong and make wise choices in their lives. Fourth point, integrity. Pastor Jason also mentioned this point. Is how important integrity is. Anyone still remember your New Year's resolutions, 2013? Oh, no one. Okay. Anyone make a promise they haven't kept? Well, not yet, right? Not yet. Well, it's a big issue if you want to really mature as individuals. You know, and Jesus said that be perfect as your heavenly parent is perfect, heavenly Father is. Now that's a tall order, but in CARP, we are going to try to help every student develop the right kind of habits to help them mature as individuals. And that is the foundation for a healthy relationship, a healthy family, a community, nation, and world. Okay?
Right.
And finally, purpose. One of the things I really appreciated about growing up in the unification faith was that they explained about the 3 stages of life. Some of you may have listened to this presentation earlier in this conference, the principles of creation. But, you know, everyone in college, they're looking for purpose. Not just college, actually. I think we all are, right? Anyone going through the midlife crisis? Maybe that's why you're here, right? Trying to figure out what to do. Purpose. Purpose is so important. And in the principle, it explains that the ultimate purpose of everything we do is what? Joy to God. Exactly. It's about finding joy within oneself, and that naturally brings joy to God. But how do we find that joy within ourselves? It starts with finding clarity and purpose and harmony within oneself. And that again is the foundation for the next 2nd and 3rd stages, and bring greater realms of joy to yourself and to God Himself. So we're going to cover these things in CARP, help every student understand these points to give a framework of direction for them in this very difficult time on campus. It's an exciting time on campus. I still remember my freshman year. All the fun stuff we did. Right? But also you're exposed to many new ideas. Has anyone noticed that once your members go to college, they stop attending church? Yeah. It's not that they're too busy studying. Their minds have been exposed to alternative thoughts. And it's a very challenging place to navigate what you truly believe in. What Daddy and Mommy and Pastor Jason said on the pulpit doesn't always apply anymore. They have to actually come to their own belief and understanding what is true in their lives. And that's why by providing these basic principles, it will help guide them. Now again, each person has their own journey. But at the very least, we want to help every student gain the tools necessary to navigate that journey. Now, all this is good, but you know, I remember one time thinking that the people who are church pastors, tend to be, I thought that there were people who couldn't find any other job. Okay, sorry. That was until I became one myself. No, they were really good people. Their hearts were amazing. They were giving all the time. They were driving people from airport to airport. They were cleaning the floors. Such good people. But the problem was they lacked in external leadership skills. Right? And I feel that in order to really fulfill our potential as human beings, we need to actually balance both our internal excellence as well as our external excellence.
That's right.
You know, society has the opposite problem. They focus completely on the external excellence and they lose sight of their internal purpose and value. But just because that's the case, we can't just be pointing fingers saying, hey, you guys suck, you don't know everything. Because when you point one finger, you got 3 pointing right back at you. So we have to be wise. We have to actually train our leaders, train ourselves to actually gain balance in both the internal and external. And hence in CARP, we are going to focus not only on the core life principles, but we will be focusing on core leadership skills. Now this was mentioned earlier, but again, Pastor Jason, it's nice that both of you have the same name. I just have to say Pastor Jason. Teamwork. Right, we're going to talk about how do you actually build a team? How do you facilitate discussion? How do you get the best foot forward from each person on your team? Organization, anyone attend a poorly organized event before? Me too. We will be training every member to learn how to organize, starting with clarifying purpose, deciding on functions, appointing the right people, creating a clear structure so that every event, including budgeting, I did do finance in college, so we will do budgeting as well so that every event, they will be trained in learning how to manage and create good events. Also, public speaking, you know, they said that public speaking is the #1 fear that people have, even more than death itself. Right? I don't know if some of us are suffering from this condition, but as pastors, you have to get good at speaking in front of people. I was actually part of Toastmasters. Anyone know of Toastmasters? For those who don't, it's a nonprofit organization that specifically focuses on public speaking training. I did that for 2 years, and I basically really love their system. But I felt it takes too long. So I took all of their training, made it shorter, and I believe more effective, and put together a training to help any person become a better public speaker in a very short period of time. And that's something that we will provide as well. Fourth, goal setting. There's many books out there on goal setting. This is something I've personally worked on for many, many years. And I've actually come up with my own process called wiser goal setting.
All right.
It's better than SMART goals, actually. We have a whole process to help every person not just set goals, but how to follow through to execution. And we have a whole process that will help anybody better achieve any goals that they have. Finally, mentoring. Now, as a leader, it's not all about what you say. Okay, you gotta learn how to listen. You gotta learn how to counsel. You gotta know how to model through your own example, so you're not preaching, you're not telling, you're actually just sharing best practices from your own life experience. So we will be covering how to be an effective mentor as well in these trainings. So again, these are the focus of CARP that I was able to decide to focus on from this point on. So CARP will be ultimately, oh, by the way, this is my family. Actually, besides all my training in school and my 15 years of working in education and leadership, really I felt I learned the most from my family, you know. I thought I was, actually I was born into this faith, unification faith, and our parents were taught, or they believed, that we would be born perfect. Yeah, I think they figured it out pretty quickly, but some didn't, I think. Some still think that we're born perfect. Anyway, that was something to live up to. That was pretty challenging. I remember my dad was very strict growing up. I mean, we're talking report card day. He lines all 6 of us up and has us report our grades one by one. Not only that, his standard, I mean, my brother, he was the smartest one, my older brother, and he would report first, and he'd be like, with an attitude, like 99 average, like that. And I'd be like, damn. And then my dad, without skipping a beat, would say, isn't there 100? Anyways, I wouldn't recommend this way of raising children. You know, you will get rebellious kids. So, so we grow up very strict, but the one thing I did appreciate was the education that the family is a school of love.
That's right.
You know, if you want to understand your own value, really the deepest form of that is when you look into the eyes of your children. Think about it. How much do you value your own children? With our limited capacity of love, how much more does God love each and every one of us? You know, the family is the greatest place to learn all of these principles and leadership skills. The problem is the family is broken right now in many places. And so we need to start from the very bottom, the individual level. We need to help and retrain ourselves and retrain our youth to help them have the capacity and the maturity to be able to build healthy families. And that's what CARP's mission is already on campus at that level, to help every student to gain this kind of perspective, life perspective, and the skills necessary to be successful. So I'd like to conclude with this. If you want to raise student leaders, contact me. We will be having our first officers training in January, and we are actually expanding now to launch clubs on as many campuses as possible. So if you know a few good men or women who are college age, this is an opportunity for them to receive direct training. Again, I've been doing this for 15 years. I know I look young, but I'm already 34. I have 2 kids, 9 and 5. But just imagine if this kind of education that they already have it at age 18, 19, think about what they can do and contribute to society and the world. Right? So I would like to provide that to whoever comes. So if you are interested, or if you know of any college students who would resonate with this, or if you need, I don't know if anyone needs young leaders in your community, but if you do, please encourage them to come or connect with me, and I'd like to offer that to them. Thank you for your time.
Our encouragement. Wow. I'll tell you, I've been challenged. You may be seated. Well, why don't you stand up? We're going to be leaving here in just a second. But before we do, we're so glad to see our Dr. Balcom with us here, President of FFWP. Wave your hand back there, Dr. Balcom. Let's say God bless Dr. Balcom. And we're going to be hearing from him later on. We're glad to see he has arrived. We're excited. You're going to have a 10-minute break. Go out and do what you got to do. Get back here. If you want to sing and worship, get back a couple minutes early, but be on time.